You know that feeling, right? It's been 24 hours, your eyes are heavy, your brain feels like it's full of cotton, and your hands are just a little shaky. Yeah, we've all been there. But what happens if you just keep pushing? What really happens when a person doesn't sleep for, say, 72 hours straight? Well, today, we're going to find out. So let's just dive right into that question, because this isn't just about feeling a little groggy. We are talking about what happens to your brain and your body when you deny them one of their most basic, fundamental needs. And let me tell you, the answer is both fascinating and, honestly, pretty frightening. You know, to really get what goes wrong when we don't sleep, we first have to understand what sleep does right. It's not just passive downtime for your body. No way. While you're out, your brain is actually one of the busiest places you can imagine, performing this absolutely critical, non-negotiable maintenance routine. And let's get one thing perfectly clear right now. Sleep is not a luxury. It's not optional. It is a core biological need, every bit as essential as the air you breathe or the water you drink. Thinking of it as anything less than that, well, that's where the trouble starts. Think of it like this. Every single night, your brain goes into cleanup mode. See, all day long, as your brain is firing on all cylinders, it's creating waste products, kind of like exhaust fumes. When you finally go to sleep, this special system kicks in, like a cleanup crew that washes all of that junk out. It resets your mind so you're ready and sharp for tomorrow. But what happens if that crew never gets a chance to work? This is the perfect analogy. It's exactly like running your laptop for days and days on end without ever restarting it. You know what happens? It gets slow, it gets buggy, apps start crashing, and eventually the whole thing just gives up. That is precisely what's happening to your brain. All that waste just keeps piling up, clogging the whole system. All right, let's start the clock. We're going to walk through this whole timeline of sleep deprivation, starting with a milestone that, well, it might feel a little too familiar for some of us, that first full day without any sleep. So, you've made it 24 hours. At this point, the system is already showing some pretty serious signs of strain. And this isn't just about yawning anymore. Your body and your mind are actively starting to break down. The symptoms, they start kind of small and then they build. Your ability to focus, it starts to just fracture. You get irritable, moody. You might notice your heart is beating a little faster. That's your body pumping out stress hormones just to keep you going. And probably most dangerously, your physical reaction time slows way down. And that slowed reaction time has some major real-world consequences. Get this. Studies show that being awake for 24 hours straight is the legal equivalent of having a blood alcohol content of 0.10%. That means your risk of having an accident, especially if you're driving, literally doubles. Doubles! Okay, but what if you push through that first day? Well, once you hit the 48-hour mark, things get a lot worse. Your brain isn't just tired anymore, it's basically entering a state of emergency. It's engaging survival mode. 48 hours, 2 full days. Your brain is now absolutely desperate for rest, and it's going to start forcing the issue in some really alarming ways. This is where your grip on reality really starts to slip. You're going to experience severe confusion, major memory lapses. Simple ideas become almost impossible to grasp. Your body can feel kind of feverish. And then the really scary stuff starts. You can begin to hallucinate, seeing shadows moving in the corner of your eye, or mistaking a coat rack for a person. Your brain is literally starting to make stuff up. And now we arrive at our big question. 72 hours, 3 days. At this point, staying awake is no longer a battle of willpower. It's become a form of actual torture for your brain and your body. This is where system failure becomes a very real, very imminent threat. 72 hours without sleep. Your body is now in a full-blown crisis, and the consequences are shifting from just cognitive to deeply, deeply physiological. See, at this stage, the damage isn't just in your head anymore. Your entire immune system begins to crash, leaving you wide open to getting sick. The strain on your heart is intense. Your body completely loses its ability to regulate blood sugar, and even your liver and kidneys start to slow down. Your core functions are beginning to fail. And then there's this phenomenon. Your brain will literally force a shutdown, whether you want it to or not. They're called microsleeps, these tiny involuntary blackouts that last just a few seconds. And they can happen anytime, anywhere, standing up, in the middle of a sentence, or, terrifyingly, behind the wheel of a car. So, all of this leads to the ultimate question, right? We've seen what happens at 24, 48, and 72 hours. But what's the absolute limit? I mean, what if a person just tried to never sleep again? Now, obviously, this isn't something science can ethically test on people, but studies and some rare medical cases give us a pretty grim picture. After about 5 days, the risk of life-threatening problems just skyrockets. And within 2 weeks, the body simply can't sustain itself anymore. The damage just piles up until you reach total organ failure. Okay, I know. After all that doom and gloom, I want to totally reframe this. Instead of thinking about sleep as something you can't afford to lose, let's think of it as a powerful tool you get to use every single night. Let's talk about sleep as your daily superpower. And this just brilliantly illustrates the choice we all make every single night. On one side, you've got the sleepless you, irritable, slow, confused. On the other side, the rested you, calm, fast, and even wiser. Sleep is the bridge that gets you from one to the other. It's how you choose which version of yourself shows up tomorrow. Seriously, sleep isn't a waste of time. It is the engine of your productivity. It's when your brain actually recharges its batteries. It's when short-term memories get filed away and strengthened into long-term knowledge. It's when your body is repairing muscle tissue and your heart and immune system are recovering and gearing up for the next fight. Sleep is an active, essential investment in the day to come. So the next time you're tempted to burn the midnight oil and you tell yourself, I just don't have time to sleep, I want you to stop and ask yourself this one simple question instead. Am I punishing my brain? Because after everything we've talked about today, we know for a fact that's exactly what you'd be doing.